Okay, so in last class we have done a NAT theory, right? Like what is source NAT, what is destination NAT, and what is a port address translation, how does the system perform a port address translation. We have done all these things, but we have just covered the theory part, right? Any questions in theory?
Port address, that port like overload you said, no, that is for I clearly I didn't understood it like clearly.
Okay,
DNet and SNet I understood, but over port pat I didn't understood.
okay. So what happens generally if you see this particular 1 minute, guys. So what is the use of PAT address, port address translation? Let us see now. So we'll take this particular example only. Okay. Now assume source A. This is a user A. Okay. And he is going to some of the website, google.com. Generally websites run on HTTPS protocol, right? Correct? Which is port number 443. So now for a source A to send the data, he first need to create a header, right? And a payload. So what he will do? He will create a source IP. He will create a destination IP. Then he will create a source port, and he will create a destination port. Source port would be any random port given by our operating system. Okay. So in a source IP, what would be there? Private IP, a user private IP. Assume user is having 192.168.1.100. Okay. So this would be source IP 192.168.1.100. Now destination IP would be google.com. Assume 8.8.8.8. Source IP would be any random IP, which would be assume 40,000. Source port would be any random port. Okay. And destination port always 443 for HTTPS traffic. Okay. Now this traffic came to our firewall. Now what is the role of firewall? He cannot send this traffic out with a private IP, right? That is the first requirement in our environment, right? We cannot send the IP directly, private IP to outside person, right? Or to a ISP provider. So now first thing what we need to do, we need to change the IP, private IP to public IP. Okay. Is it clear? This is
Yeah.
first requirement. Now with the first requirement I am doing some addition. With the IP I am even adding a port number also. So what was the private IP port number? Source port I am saying 40,000, right? So I will check. See, in a public IP I am having 65,535 port numbers. Out of 65,000 port numbers, if a port number 40,000 is available, I will map the same port number 40,000. If this 40,000 is already used by some existing session, okay, and this port is not available, so I will check what is the next port available. Assume next port is 40,001. Okay, so my private IP would be mapped with the port number 40,001. Okay, so that's how with the private IP I would be having a port number also assigned. If I don't do this mapping or port number, what will happen? I am using one private to public, anyhow communication is happening, but one public IP would be dedicated to one private IP. Now I am having different users, I cannot use, right? So what will happen in a real environment? Let us see now. User A is having a private IP 192.168.1.100. User B is having a private IP 192.168.1.101. User C 192.168.1.102. Now assume destination is all 8.8.8.8 with the port number 443. Okay. Our public IP. Now our environment, our firewall public IP, WAN IP. Assume WAN IP is 100.1.1.1. Now firewall, what it need to do? Source IP translation to our public IP, right? So generally in a PAT, what will happen? With every source IP, we will give dedicated port number also, source port number. Now this public IP, private IP, I will change to 100.1.1.1, but I will give port number. Assume he is initiating a traffic, his source port is 40,000. So I will map same port number if available. If this port is not available, I will map different port. Now he is initiating a traffic with the port number 40,000 only, but 40,000 already used by this public IP, right? So I cannot use this public IP port number, but public IP still I can use, but I will map a different port number 40,001. Okay, same thing for a third user. Again, suppose he is using a port number 40,000. Same source port number everyone is using, because source port number is dedicated to every user, right? It is not from a firewall side. So every user can use same port number, source port number, when they are initiating a traffic. But when we are doing a natting, this port number already used, and 4001 also already used, right? So now 4002 I need to use. Okay, so that's how with one public IP I am using different port numbers for different sessions. Okay, is it clear?
Yeah. So for example, like normal SNet and DNet is there. No, there. If we are not using PAD, we should be doing like one private IP to one public
One
in
public
SNet.
IP.
In DNet, one public to one private we do.
Correct.
If we did the PNet pad, no, so with one public IP we can do multiple source netting and DNet destination netting like that. It is the
Correct.
concept is
Correct. Because
okay. And one,
along with the IP
hmm,
address, you are mapping a port number also.
it will be different, yes. And this thing, WAN interface from the ISP side, we have they will be giving us like one dedicated public IP, for our interface. For example, /32 IP, they will give like you set your interface IP as this much, or sometime they'll give us like multiple one range of IPs. Will
Correct.
that IPs and this NAT IPs will be in the same like like how these will be in the same
No, we
range
will
or
come to that. See, if what we want to do, like NAT with our interface IP address or with the pool IP address, we will check that. Don't worry. In a
okay
real
here
time, we'll check
concept
that
is
lab.
clear.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. The concept is clear, means how it will happen with the different IP addresses. We will check. Don't worry.
Okay, clear.
Okay. So now we'll go with our Nat labs. Any other questions in theory?
No, not from.
Okay. So now we will go with the Nat labs. So in a Nat labs, what we are going to perform, let us see. So first, what we will do, these are our source, right? This is source, this is a source, this is a source. Destination can be anything over the internet. Okay, it can be Google, it can be Facebook, it can be Cisco, it can be Fortinet. Fortinet also having a website, right? So anything can be a destination, doesn't matter to us for now. So now assume these are our providers, ISP1, ISP2. They gave us a link. Now our link is having /30 IP. So /30 means we would be having only one public IP our side and one public IP at the ISP side, correct? So we are using /30
Yes.
IP. Now first thing our requirement is to provide internet to all of this user, and this user. So we would be doing a PAT. So when we are doing a PAT, we are having one IP address on our environment. So what we will do? We will do source NAT with the PAT option, or NAT overload we call it. Okay, then on this we would be using a WAN IP address, or you can say interface, exit interface IP address. In our case, when the traffic is going out of firewall, this is the exit interface, right? This or this, right? Sorry, this. Correct? These are the two exit interface for us. So when the traffic is going out of our environment, the NAT should happen with either this port number 4 or port number 3 IP address, right? If traffic is going from this, it will happen at port number 4. Traffic is going from this, it will happen at port number 3. Correct? So this is our requirement, first thing. So we will check how does a NAT happens with the exit interface. How do you configure NAT with the exit interface? So now let us see. us close this. Let us close this. So we'll go to policy and object. We'll go to firewall policy and let us enable one policy now. Now if you come down, you see here NAT option, right? Use outgoing interface. What is outgoing interface in our policy? WAN number 4 is our outgoing interface, right? We have selected WAN number 4 as the outgoing interface, correct? So when the traffic is coming, our user traffic will come from port number, this LAN port number, and outgoing interface would be WAN port number. So when the traffic is going out, our user traffic should be NATed with our public IP address of our WAN number port number 4. Okay. So this is one requirement. And in FortiGate, if you enable NAT option and you select use outgoing interface address, usually NAT will happen with your public IP of the interface. So what is our interface public IP? Let us see. WAN number 4. If I drag here, what is the IP address it is showing? 100.1.1.1/30, right? So whatever traffic is going from port number 4, it should be NATed with this public IP address. Okay. Let us see in our logs now. Forward traffic. If you see here, actual source IP address is 192.168.100.100, right? Then what is a NAT IP? 100.1.1.1, right? Is it clear?
Yes, yes.
So now let us see one more thing. Just give me 1 minute, guys. Let's close this. Let us try from this. Now if you see, this is actual source, and the actual source is NATed with this particular public IP. This is the actual source. This is NATed with this public IP, right? Now this is the actual source. It is NATed with this public IP, right? This is IP and port number also mapped. If this port is used, then some other port will be used. Let us see how it will work. All UDP traffic is there. We need to generate some TCP traffic, then we'll see. Cisco.com, anydisk.com. Okay. Okay. There's so much traffic now. Okay. Now this is our actual source port numbers, TCP port and all. Now if you see here, as of now, these are the port numbers used by source, and these are the port numbers available in a firewall. So it is doing one port to same port number mapping. If any other user is there who is using same port numbers, then firewall cannot use that port numbers. Then different port would be mapped in our environment. So now let us do one thing. I'll try to do one more thing. Facebook.com. But we are having only one source as of now. Let us add one more source. We'll see then. Windows 11. Done. Wipe this. Okay. We'll just see another source and we'll check if the NATing is happening with the same particular port number or what. For that, what I'll do, I'll disable one particular interface so we can do proper troubleshooting or proper checking how does the NAT happening. Okay. All traffic will go from port number 4 only for now. I'll disable port number 3 for time being. Let us disable this. same time. Okay, I'll initiate a ping from this also. Okay, now again we will see a session table. This firewall CLI is not coming up. Get the system session list. Now if you see, same particular port numbers are there, 24201, but that port number is not available in a firewall, so it used some random port. 24433 is available, he used the same port number. 24201 not available, is used. Then 24, if you see this 23433, and this also 23433. But we'll do one thing, let us copy this thing now. ICMP only, right? All. Let's copy this. We'll go to Notepad. Now if you see this particular session, this is actual source IP and this is a source port, a system generated port number. Okay, then this is actual NAT IP and actual NATed source port. Okay, so as of now this port was available, so firewall mapped the same port number. Now another user, if you see line number 3, another user also using same port number to generate a traffic. Okay, but 23433 was already used in firewall NAT table, so that cannot be used, so it used another whatever the port number available. Okay, so that's how usually it works. Getting point?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Suppose 23433 was not used by this particular session, so it may be used for the same particular port number. If that port number is already used or already available in NAT translation, that cannot be used. Firewall will check the available port number and that would be used in our environment. Okay, clear?
Yeah, if we selected that select as our WAN interface as NAT IP, no need to create any pool or nothing,
Nothing,
right?
nothing,
It
nothing.
is like we can enable that thing all the time, right? Like why we have to
Okay.
enable
No,
so
see
one to
what will
one to
happen.
one.
Let me show you. See the industry standards now. If you use a PAT, okay, how many ports we are having out of 65,000? 0 to 1003 is already used. So maybe we are having 64,000 port numbers. Okay. So usually one particular PC in Windows 10 on Windows 11, they may be using 100 sessions. Okay. So you divide this by 100. So how many sessions how many IP connections we will get per user? Now let us see. 64,000 divided by 100. We are getting 640 users. One public IP, maybe 600 users we can give one public IP. Okay. Now in my environment, I am having 1000 users. There are environments where they are having 5000 users also, right? Going via one firewall or one ISP. Now I cannot use 5000 users, one public IP. Okay. In that case, I need to use a pool of addresses.
Or else session will be exhausted.
Section will
Like
see
if we
now
have
what will happen. Now our environment is small. We are having a users, 3-4 users. We are having one particular public IP. We are having 64,000 port numbers. So one particular session will be mapped with one port. Second session, second port. So everything is working fine. The time all 64,000 port numbers are used, and any user is initiating a connection, he will not get an internet connection. Okay, because firewall is not having a port number, he cannot do a NAT. Okay.
yes.
Yeah. So now we understood how to do a NATing with exit interface. It is very simple. Just you enable a NAT on your firewall policy, it will be done. Now let us see how to do a NAT with our IP pool. Okay. Let us go to our lab again. What I will do now, I will stop ping. Then to do a NAT with IP pool, we need to do multiple options. First we need to create a IP pool. So we'll go to policy and object. We'll go to IP pool. Okay. So here I will create a IP pool. You see, we need to select the option as a overload. That will happen with the PAT. In the FortiGate, we call it a overload generally for a PAT option. So I will say public IP pool. Then I will say external IP address 100.1.1.5. assume I am giving. I need to give range 100.1.1.5. Okay. This IP address I am using as of now. You can give a range like 2 IPs, 3 IPs, 100.5 to 1.1.1.67, whatever you wanted to give. Okay. Remember, in our lab environment, we are using /30 as of now. So that will not work in our environment. So what we need to do now? First, we need to change the pool. Instead of /30, I will be using /28. So this side is /28, this side /28 we will use. Okay. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Because /30 means I am having only one IP address, right? Then I cannot use, I
In
don't
slash
have a pool
32.
of, sorry?
In slash 32 will be having one
/20
usable IP.
/30 means only two usable IP addresses, right?
Yes, two.
So I will not have a proper addresses. So I need to use a /28. So how many 15 IP addresses I will get with /28? Correct? So
Yes.
now let us change the IP address in our ISP router first. Sorry. Show IP interface brief. Config T interface Ethernet 0/1. IP address 100.1.1.2 255.255.255.240. Okay. Then I have configured one access control list. So IP access list for a NATing. You see, on a router also we are doing a NATing. So traffic will go to our main router or my home router. We will get return traffic. So this also I need to change. IP access list standard 1 10 permit. 1 minute, hold on. This is getting stuck today, I don't know why. Let us wait for
For our
2 minutes.
lab purpose, you are doing natting on ISP router, right?
Correct,
For
correct.
lab purpose. But outside it is like in firewall is fine.
Outside
In real.
you think it as a firewall only, your ISP, your
Hmm.
ISP connecting.
Okay.
1 minute. Telnet. My router got stuck. I need to power it off, then again power it on. Don't know. We'll check this router meantime. Show IP interface brief. Config T interface Ethernet 0/1. IP address 101.1.1.2 255.255.240. IP access list is standard 1 10 permit 100.1.1.0 0.0.0.15. Okay, no 10 permit 101.1.1.0 then 10 permit. Done. Show IP access list. Okay, we will do natting from ISP2. ISP1 router is having some issue, I don't know, we'll see. On a firewall also I need to do some NAT changes, right? IP changes. On firewall also we are having /30 only. So what I will do, for now I will disable port number 3, sorry, port number 4, and enable port number 3. And this particular thing, instead of /30 I will use /28. Okay, done. And That's all. Let me check. Internet is coming. Okay, internet is coming. Now internet should be coming from a WAN IP address or interface IP address. So let us go to again IP pool. We created IP pool for ISP1, so I will change it to ISP2 101.1.1.5 101.1.1.5. Okay. Now this IP pool we need to add into a security policy. Let us go to firewall policy. You see WAN number 2. Let us edit this. This is our WAN ISP2 policy. So instead of selecting outgoing interface, I will select to use dynamic IP pool. Once I select dynamic IP pool, I need to select what pool I have configured. Okay. Done. So the rest all is okay. So now let us select OK. Now see previously what was happening. Let us see. Let us go to firewall, get system session list. Now see previously the session was happening with 100.1.101.1.1, right? Now I will clear all the sessions, then we'll see. Display FortiView sessions. Let us remove all the sessions and all the sessions. Let us wait for a couple of minutes, then we'll see where does the NAT happens now. The NAT should happen with our 101.1.1.5 IP address. Okay. Okay, now let me initiate traffic again from PC 10 and PC 20. VPC 10 8.8, VPC 20 8.8. Couple of traffic is enough for us. Okay, done. Okay, done. Let us see again now. Now all traffic is happening with what IP address? 100.1.1.5. Whatever the port numbers available, it will map same port numbers. Okay. If not available, it will map some different port numbers. If you see 14476 is not available, so it mapped with whatever the port number available. Okay. Is it clear?
Yes.
Same option is same like what how does the port map happen? It is almost the same. Only thing is instead of using your WAN interface IP address, we are using a different IP address given by our ISP pool. Okay. So what happens generally? Suppose you got IP address with your link. Your link you received here, right? Port number 3 101.1.1.0/28. Okay. ISP said this is your your link pool, and 101.1.1.2 is your gateway. So now what you will understand with this? Okay, I am having addresses from 1 to 15, but out of this port number 1.2 IP address 1.2 is used by ISP router. So now I am having IP as a .1, then .3 to .15 IP addresses I am available with me. I can use any of this IP address. So in .1 we have configured at our interface. So I am having now 3 to 15 IP addresses. So any of the IP address I can use for NATing purpose in my environment. Okay, is it clear?
Yeah, it will be like always this like this only. Out of pool, we will be getting the netting IP, or dedicatedly they will give. You should use these many IPs. Those are different than our interface IP.
That is also possible. Sometimes you will get a interface IP as /30. Suppose I got a 101.1.1.0/30 as my interface IP. Okay, so I am having only one IP address usable for my side. Second IP address used by ISP side. Okay, /30 means two usable IPs, right? So one IP we will use, second IP ISP will use. Now we want more IP addresses. Assume now I want 5 free IPs. So I need to purchase 5 free IPs from ISP. Then what he will do? He will give, assume 102.1.1.0/29. Okay. So what he will do? He will give these IP addresses to you, and from ISP router he will do a routing to your public IP. Okay. Now suppose your firewall public IP is 101.1.1.1. Okay. So from ISP side he will do a static routing or whatever routing. So 102.1.1.0/29 should be routed to your firewall interface. That's how. That is all ISP's headache. That is not our headache. Okay. But how we do configuration, natting and all, that is all same. If you have a IP pool from the same interface address or IP pool of a different range also, doesn't matter for us.
Clear.
Okay. Yeah.
But one doubt I have, like you mentioned, in outgoing interface, you mentioned only one WAN IP. In some scenario, if that ISP goes down, can we add another one WAN IP there in outgoing interface?
No, no, no. See, 1 minute. Natting in FortiGate is happening at what stage? First, you see, traffic came in. First, it will check if any existing session available. If no session, new session is created. After session is created, it will check a routing. Okay. When firewall is checking a routing, he will know this particular traffic where I need to send. Okay. He will decide exit interface. Okay. Or outgoing interface. After he decided outgoing interface, he will check a policy. Okay. After policy only natting will happen in a firewall. Now your question, if this interface goes down, firewall will not even send the traffic to this interface, or this particular policy will not even hit. Okay. Then if only this interface is available, routing decisions happen at the third point. So firewall will know, okay, I need to send the traffic to WAN number 1. Okay. So WAN number 1, do I have a policy like incoming interface is LAN, outgoing interface is WAN? Do I have a policy from LAN to WAN 1? And what is the NAT configured on this particular policy? Okay. Suppose this policy number is 1, this policy number is 2. On policy number 2, what is the NAT you have configured? Okay. Obviously, on WAN number 1, you will not give a IP pool of WAN number 2, right? If you give that, that is a
Yes.
wrong configuration.
Okay, before doing this all, we have to think in that scenario, and we have to create second policy, and the natting pool also we have to do like before.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. These are all automatic only, right?
Yes. While configuring this netting, we have to create one extra policy and extra netting for secondary ISPs also.
Correct. Okay. So that was for a source NAT with the exit interface and with the IP pool. Now another option we have. Now I am having my PC or my server acting as a web server. Okay. I am having external user. The user is sitting here. This is my external user. He wants to access my public IPs or my web server. Okay. On this web server, I am having some website hosted, which I wanted to access from outside, or this is a web server. Assume Amazon web server, Cisco web server, something, right? That we are accessing using a FQDN or IP address from a open internet. Correct. So similar to that, I wanted to give my web server access to everyone over a internet. So for that, what configuration we will do, or what type of NAT we will do? We will do a DNAT, right? Correct.
Yes.
So now let us see how to perform a DNAT. But for that we need certain things. Let us see in our PC, do I have a website configured or not? Let us go to PC. I will first open a control panel. So to configure your PC as a web server, Windows 11, these are the steps we need to perform. Let us see. Go to programs, turn Windows feature on or off. Just you see this Internet Information Services, right? Before I enable this, let me show you one thing, how to check if your web PC is working or not working. 127.0.0.1. This is a self-host IP address. Can't reach this page, so you don't have a web services enabled on your PC. So now I will enable web services, Internet Information Services. Click on OK. Let it be enabled. For that time being, what I'll do, I'll disable this. Then here I need to have another user. Let us see if this is enabled or not. Okay, this router is gone. What I'll do, I will add a user or Windows 7 PC or Windows 10 PC. Windows 11 only we will add. 4 GB RAM. Okay, done. This is my test PC now. I don't want this router anymore. This is not required, so let us remove this now. Delete this. Delete this also. Which is not required, I am removing from my environment now. This is my test user. Okay. We will use a public IP pool here, 150.1.1.0/24. Router side I will give /1, user side /100. So let me configure router first. Enable config T interface Ethernet 0/2, IP address 150.1.1.1. No shutdown. We don't need to do any natting or anything. Now we will check our user also. Let the user be enabled. Till then I have enabled IIS services, right? Windows completed the requested changes. So now let me again go to my web browser, 127.0.0.1. Now I am having a IIS services enabled, but as of now web page is not coming. It is just a IIS services page. So now let us create one HTML page. Okay, close this. Let me see, new text document, html dot index.html. Okay, yes, change it. I will open this with a notepad. Choose another app. Now we will do some HTML coding. HTML open, HTML close. Here we'll give some this is a test web page created for FortiGate labs. Okay, then p close, para close. This is a lab test server. Okay, done. Now whatever file we have created, we need to paste this file in one environment or one path. I will show you. You go to local this PC, local disk C, then you see inet pub www root. Here you need to paste that index.html file. Continue. Okay, now let us go to our web page again, 127.0.0.1. Now we are getting a test page, right? This is a test web page created for FortiGate labs. This is a lab test server, correct? Now we are having a web page ready. Now I want this web page should be accessed from anywhere on the internet. So now let us go to this internet user PC. I trust this PC. We need to wait for a couple of minutes. Once this test PC is ready, we can do testing. Let us wait. As of now, we have not done any DNAT or anything, so it should not work. Let us see. So what would be the requirement, or how does it works now? See, our requirement is on this particular port we are having how many free IPs? 100 dot, sorry, 101.1.1.3, 1.4, then 1.5 already used for our source net, so let us exclude that. 1.62, 1.14. Okay, so what I want, if a user is going on a public IP 101.1.1.12 and a port number, destination port is 80, okay, then he should get our web page access, okay, or our website access. So traffic will come from a user to his ISP to our firewall, and our firewall will say, okay, destination IP is 101.1.1.12 and a port number is 80. So what firewall should do? He should redirect this traffic to our actual web server. Okay. As of now, we have not configured this. If you don't configure, what will happen? Let us see. And after configuration, how it will work. Okay. Still loading. Okay. So we will give IP address to our user 255.255.255.0 150.1.1.1 as a gateway. Done. Okay. Close this. Let it identify. Let me first ping our firewall IP 101. Gateway will ping first. Able to ping a gateway. Able to ping firewall, right? So there is no problem with the reachability. Okay. So now let us do one thing. We'll try to access our web server with 101.1.1.12. 101. Okay. It is not working for now. So now let us go to firewall again. We'll do one thing on a firewall. We'll enable diagnose. Diagnose, debug, flow, filter, source address 150.1.1.100. Diagnose, debug, flow, trace, start 100. Okay. Let us initiate the traffic again. As of now, traffic is not even coming to firewall because ISP is not sending the traffic. ISP is not having any ARP for this traffic. Okay. Let us see in our ISP router. Show IP ARP. Do we have 100.1.1.12 ARP? We don't have a ARP on our ISP router, so this traffic is not even coming to our firewall for this. Okay. Now let us do one thing. We will enable a DNAT in our firewall now. So to enable DNAT, we'll go to policy and object. You see this virtual IP, right? Let us go to virtual IP. We will try to create one new virtual IP. We will say web server. Okay. Then what is the incoming interface? Our incoming interface is WAN number 2. What is our public IP? 101.1.1.12. Okay. Then what is our private IP? Means our actual server IP. 100.100. As of now, we have done one-to-one NATing, means whatever IP is coming, whatever traffic is coming on this IP, it would be going to this particular port number, whether it is ICMP traffic or whatever traffic. Okay. So firewall, whatever traffic is coming here, firewall will send to this particular PC. Okay. So now let us go here and click. As of now, only DNAT is happening. There is no security policy allowed. Okay. There is no particular ARP or anything. So now let us go again to our user. We need to create a security policy for this. Okay. I'll go to firewall. Again, we will say web server access. Incoming interface, our WAN. Outgoing interface, traffic will come from WAN and it will go to our LAN, right? Source can be anything. When the traffic is coming from internet, it can be any source. Destination would be our web server. So you see here virtual IP. We need to select our web server. Services, you can select whatever services you want, and you don't need any NATing for this, because NATing already applied on this particular destination VIP. We don't need to do separate NATing on this. Okay. Then I will say all sessions output. Okay, done. Now we will initiate traffic again. Now we are getting a web page, right? Now let us see a session. Okay. Now if you see here, till then that was allowed, that was no policy anything happening, policy 0. Okay, I'll copy from this particular. Notepad. Traffic came from 150.1. Destination was 100.101.1.1.12. Port number 80. Okay. Then allocated a new session. There was no existing session available, so firewall allocated a new session. Then after that, DNAT will happen before routing in our environment, and SNAT will happen after routing. Okay. So remember, this can be your interview question. SNAT happens after routing. DNAT happens before routing. Okay. Is it clear? Okay. So if you see, DNAT happened first. This was our server IP address. Okay. Then message VIP already configured, and we will do a NATing message DNAT this particular public IP to this particular private IP address. Okay. Then found a route for our exit interface, or our actual public IP address, private IP address, then allowed via policy. So what all steps firewall took for this? First step, traffic came. Second step, DNAT performed. Third step, routing checked. Fourth step, policy. Right? Okay, traffic came, then firewall will check if session is there or not, then allocated a new session. Then DNAT happened, performed the routing, then policy. Whatever policy it is allowed by policy number 5. Okay. Then traffic will go to our actual web server. Is it clear? Hello?
Yeah, clear.
Yeah. So now we are doing any to any NATing, right? So whatever traffic comes to port number or IP address 12, that would be redirected to our actual user or our actual web server. So if I do a ping also, sorry, not 100, 101. Ping also working now, right? But our requirement is we want to expose our web server with only port number 80 or port number 443. We don't want any other ports to be exposed. Okay, so this you can do in two ways. First, just restrict on a DNAT only. This is the best method, because when you are doing a DNAT, natting or DNAT will happen before a security policy only. Okay, so we don't even want a firewall to go till the security policy. We want to restrict the traffic at a DNAT level only. So we will say, okay, only allow port number 80 and 443, rest all traffic, don't do any DNAT configuration. Then second, under security policy also you can restrict. If a natting is happening with port number 80, 443, everything, but still if security policy is not there, it would be restricted. So let us see first security policy option, then we'll go with the DNAT option also, how to do that. So I'll enable, or I will enable continuous ping. Then we'll go to our policy. Firewall policy. As of now we have allowed all services, right? If you see under services, everything is allowed. We don't want everything to be allowed. We want only HTTP and HTTPS should be allowed. No other traffic should be allowed. Okay, done. Now let us see after a couple of minutes what will happen. Okay, still it is pinging. Okay, done. Request timeout. Natting is happening, but policy is not allowing this particular traffic now. Okay, this is one method. If I don't want this method, another method is you go to your virtual IPs. But here what will happen, let us see first. We will again do our packet capture. We'll see. Okay, see, still DNAT is happening, but there is no policy to do anything. Okay, finding an existing session. Okay, done. DMIN, diagnose, debug, flow, trace, stop. Okay, there may be a traffic which was finding an existing session and it is getting dropped. Finding an existing session, still a DNAT is happening, right? 101.1.1.12 DNAT to this particular private IP address. Okay, so now let me do one thing. I'll stop ping. I'll go to firewall and clear all the sessions. Dashboard, FortiView sessions. And delete all the sessions. Okay, done. Diagnose, debug, flow, filter, clear. Diagnose, debug, flow. Sorry. Filter, source address 150.1.1.100. Diagnose, debug, flow, trace, start 100. Okay, done. We'll again initiate a ping, then we'll see what is going to happen. Okay, one ping is enough. Traffic came. This is our particular public IP and this is a port number, ICMP traffic. Okay, then allocated a new session. Still DNAT is happening now. Traffic is coming to a firewall. Firewall is performing everything. Then even firewall is checking a routing. Firewall is checking a policy also, right? So this is taking lot of time for a firewall, because firewall need to do DNAT, firewall need to check a routing, then firewall need to check a policy also. Then it should be denied. The end result is denying only, but it is consuming some CPU, memory, whatever resources, right? We don't want all these resources consuming. So what we will do now, we'll go to our policy and object, virtual IPs. We'll say only do a DNAT for a port number, specific port number. External port number will say 80, internal port number also 80. Okay, if traffic is coming on port number 80, that will work. Any other traffic, it should not work. Okay, same session is available. Let us go again, let us ping again. Okay, so now what happened, let us copy all these things. So I'll go here, clear everything. Okay, so there are two traffics now. First traffic, what was happening? Firewall was checking DNAT, firewall was checking VIP, then routing also, everything. Some resources are getting utilized by the firewall. Okay. Now what happened? Same traffic is there, same source, same public IP, came from same port number. Okay. Here also allocated new session, there was no session. Then message find a route. Here DNAT is not happening at all. Okay, because we have set a firewall only do a DNAT for port number 80. Don't do a DNAT for port number ICMP or any other traffic. So DNAT will not happen now. Firewall will save some resources now, and firewall will check a routing and the security policy and deny this particular traffic now. Because there is no DNAT configured, now this traffic will only allowed if you say incoming interface WAN, outgoing interface LAN, source is all, destination is your private IP. Okay, then this particular traffic should be allowed. Sorry, destination is your public IP. Then this particular traffic would be allowed, but still user will not get a actual ICMP request or anything. Okay, so usually this traffic will not be allowed in your environment now. Is it clear?
Yeah.
See, now in our policy we have in our DNAT we have given external port as 80, internal port also 80. In some environments you can give in this way also. External port is 443, your internal port is 80. Internal port should be actual port number where your services are running. External port can be anything. It is 443 or whatever it is. Okay, let us see now. How it will happen, let us see. Till now user is accessing a services on port number 80, which is HTTP. If I say external port is 443, done. Now when the user wants to access the traffic, he cannot use HTTP, he need to use HTTPS. If he use HTTP, what will happen? Let us see. Not able to access the server, we'll go again, we'll say HTTPS. There is a connection error or certificate error only, because our firewall doesn't have a certificate. For HTTPS we need to use a certificate. Okay, but still DNAT is happening in our environment. Let us see now. We have logs available. Okay, now find a NAT. Traffic is coming on port number 443. Still DNAT is happening, but DNAT changing a port number. Actual port was 443 and changing it to port number 80. When you have a proper certificate and everything on a firewall, it will work in your real-time environment. Okay, but in lab environment, our firewall is having a lab firewall, so it cannot have a actual port number, actual certificate and all for accessing this website, right? So it will not work. Okay, but this would be used when you want to have a server at HTTP and your firewall should do HTTP offloading and all. This can be used in your environment. Is it clear? Hello?
Yes, yes.
So any questions now?
No
Let me know
question.
if any questions.